everyone. This is about our representation to the local plan. We've made 10 to Enfield Council, and they will eventually, we hope, go on the EnCaf's website, and they will eventually be on the council website too. The purpose of the plan is actually to improve an area for the benefit of all its residents, but we feel that as it stands, it's an opportunity missed. And it's not just about losing 13% of the green belt. That's very serious indeed and unnecessary, but there's lots more that we've addressed. The inspectors have made just one decision to make. Is it sound? The decision can only be made on the basis of planning arguments and processes and whether it meets the requirements of the London plan, which it broadly must by law. But we ultimately think that a number of the policies are not legally compliant or sound as required by the National Planning Policy Framework. If inspectors find the plan unsound, then they can tell the council what modifications can make it sound. Our representations all include suggested modifications because actually we'd like the plan to be sound, as it's not in anyone's interest for it to be rejected completely, because in the absence of a local plan, it is very difficult to hold developers to account. These are the topics we made representations about: spatial strategy, small sites, Meridian Water, Chase Park, which is the vicarage farm on the green belt, sport, open spaces and recreation, enhancing the beneficial effects of the green belt and metropolitan open land, allotments and community food production, blue and green infrastructure plans, and finally protecting Epping Forest, special area of conservation. I'll only be able to give you headlines here, but it's important to notice that we at every possible opportunity we're urging the council to consider including Banbury Reservoir Park in its local plan, as we consider this to be potentially transformative for communities in the south east of the borough. So in our opinion, spatial strategy policy requires major modifications to reflect the needs of the London plan in Enfield. It doesn't sufficiently reflect policies designed to promote the renewal and optimisation of brownfield sites in order to protect the green belt. It can be done. Small sites development can help people downsize by therefore releasing family homes that are in short supply. So therefore we think the council, in considering proposals for new housing development on small sites, they should seek sustainable range of house sizes, types and tenures to reflect the needs of those living in the borough now and in the future. Meridian Water, to become sound, we suggest that the council consider the multiple benefits of including the land needed to develop the newly proposed park, which is in the immediate vicinity of Meridian Water. Insofar as Chase Park, that's the Greenbelt area at Vicarage Farm, we support the delivery of new homes and employment spaces in sustainable locations. But in our opinion, Chase Park is not this and is not legally compliant and not sound. Car ownership in the immediate vicinity, car ownership rates are very high in the immediate vicinity, partly because the distance to amenities is long, and the public transport and property marketing, which focuses on proximity to road infrastructure, for instance the M25. Another factor is not only the distance of the proposed homes to local public transport, well over a mile to both Enfield Chase and Oakwood stations, but also the topography of the area, which is likely to limit active travel, cycling, walking and so forth. It's very, very hilly, and the hills are quite steep. So in our opinion, Chase Park needs simply to be removed from the plan to be in conformity with the London plan. Sport, open space and recreation, remove the plan for Church Street Recreation Ground, which is destined to become a crematorium. We think that's silly when there's already space opposite the existing crematorium, and there's no need to take green space away from communities in Edmonton to build a crematorium, because there are multiple co-location benefits if they create it opposite the existing one. insofar as the beneficial effects of greenbelt and metropolitan open land, we feel that the policy doesn't really address the aim of the blue and green strategy, because it focuses all of the most significant greenbelt enhancements to areas in the north of the borough, which already have lots of opportunity, not lots of existing beautiful green space, and is not towards areas such as Edmonton and areas identified as having a deficit of accessible green space, and which are actually going to experience transformational change over the next 20 years because of the development plans in the local plan. So the Enfield's local plan needs to focus its greenbelt strategy far more on areas with deficiencies of open space, particularly in the southeast of the borough, which is targeted for significant population increases and is already an area with a deficit of open space. Allotments and community food production, some areas of the borough already don't meet the minimum quantity standards for allotment spaces, i.e. Cockfosters, Enfield Highway, Enfield Lock, Lower Edmonton, Southgate Green, Town and Winchmore Hill wards are all identified in the Blue and Green Strategy audit as having deficiencies of allotment space. So we urge the local authority to use the tools at its disposal, which are considerable, to address this deficit, because it's allotments and growing food is very much a popular and desirable policy. Blue-green infrastructure plans, generally speaking, we consider they lack clear and specific measurable requirements that are necessary if the strategic aims of our local plan are to be met. In our view, the blue-green infrastructure plan leaves the protection of existing blue and green assets and the delivery of new assets open to far too broad an interpretation. Any major schemes, and particularly those for strategic sites, should be expected to clearly set out not only the blue and green infrastructure requirements, but what mitigation will be taken in the local area to compensate for any shortfall within the scheme itself. And finally, regarding Epping Forest, again, we support the regeneration of meridian water, but in our opinion, the amount and quality of open space that's being taken out of the Epping Forest recreation mitigation strategy is far too low and likely to negatively impact the Epping Forest Special Conservation Area. So we strongly suggest that the local plan authority reconsider proposed plans for Banbury Reservoir Park, which EnCaf and the CPRE London have proposed and are getting considerable local support, and they aim to better use fenced-off greenbelt land area which has currently a deficit of access to suitable open space in the southeast of the borough. So we re-provided the proposals. So that's it. I'm sorry I'm not there to answer any questions, but I'm sure other people will be. Thanks for listening.